Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I'm Arpit, the community specialist at Integromat, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar, Email Marketing Turbocharged with SendinBlue and Integromat. The core objective of this webinar is to show you how to get started with SendinBlue, which is a really powerful email marketing and automation tool, and also how to create useful scenarios with Integromat to take your email marketing to the next level. So without further ado, I would like to introduce today's panelist, Quinton Osan from SendinBlue. He is the Director of Business Development at SendinBlue, and he's going to show us how to get started with SendinBlue. So over to you, Quinton.
Thank you, Arpit. Hi, guys. Nice to be with you today. So today we are going to show you how you can link two powerful solutions, one being SendinBlue and the other one being whichever solution you'd like through Integromat. So just for some of you that might not know exactly who SendinBlue is, we are an all-in-one marketing platform that lets you create email campaigns very easily. We have a responsive editor that is very easy to use, very intuitive. You don't have to have any technical skills to be able to create a professional newsletter. We also do the SMS part. If you want to send text messages campaigns to your clients or prospects, you are able to do that with us. We also do the transactional part, transactional emails or transactional SMS, or all the one-to-one emails that are sent following an action by your contacts. Let me give you an example maybe. So if you subscribe to a newsletter online, usually you receive a subscription confirmation email. Same whenever you purchase something online, you receive a purchase confirmation email. So those are what we call transactional. And we also have a marketing automation platform that lets you create automated workflows based on the behavior of your contacts. The goal here is to be able to automate your marketing and to segment your database according to the actions that they do, whether it's on your websites, whether it's on past campaigns or else. The main goal is to target the right contact, the right person with the right message at the right time. And just before showing you whatever powerful things that you can do with Integromat, I wanted to quickly introduce you our marketing automation platform. So we have different workflow types, as you can see on my screen, that you can get started with. So it could be some kind of onboarding, welcome message workflow. I'll show you that in a minute. You can also create some kind of anniversary date workflow. Anniversary doesn't necessarily have to be a date of birth attribute, but it could also be a contract anniversary, right? Much like Facebook is doing on your feed, I guess. You can also track what's happening on your website. So there are two things here. We can track the page visited. It's very easy. It's a simple script that you put on the header of your website, and then we can track all the page visited. And also we can track multiple events. An event could be everything that could happen on your website, such as a click, search, and add to cart, etc. And last but not least, you are also able to create workflows based on the marketing activity or transactional activity of your contact. So let me show you a clear example. Every time you create a workflow, you have to define an entry point. The entry point is what lets your contact enter that workflow. So here's the entry point. If I'm doing some kind of onboarding message, welcome message workflow, it would be all my new subscribers, right? So every time someone subscribes to my newsletter, he's added to my new subscribers list. This is my entry point. Then I can add a delay. Here, I'll just add 5 seconds, but it's up to you to remove that delay if you don't want to have it. And then I'll send them an email. Here you see it's not very complicated. It's a simple transactional workflow that I was mentioning just a couple of minutes before. But the goal of the marketing automation, the interesting thing, is to go further than that, right? So you might want to send a sequence of email, some kind of onboarding to give a lot of tips or introduce yourself to your customers. So let me show you exactly what you can do. You can do two things with SendinBlue. You can set up some actions. An action could be send an email. Here, if you want to send a sequence of email, that could be an SMS. You can also add a contact to a list, such as a VIP list. You can also remove a contact from a VIP list, for example. And you can also update a contact attribute. Just a parenthesis here on the contact attributes. You are able to define as many attributes as you like with SendinBlue. So for example, if you want to score your leads based on the interest that they show to your brand, I'll just create an attribute score webinar. And then you can use it. I'll show you in a minute. And besides actions, you can also create conditions. So you can add a delay. So let's say here that I want to wait 3 days after I send my first email, my first welcome email. And after those 3 days, I want to check whether my contacts open or not my email. So here I can add a if else condition, and then I'll select my campaign. Sorry, it was that one. And there it is. Now you see I have two branches, two separate branches that will segment my database, my contacts database, into two different parts, those who open my emails and those who haven't opened my email. So those who opened it, let's say I want to score them and give them a good grade. So it would be here, update contact attribute. And then I have created an attribute that is score webinar. So here I'll just add +5, right? And on top of that, I want to add them to a VIP list. So here I have my VIP prospects. I'll just add them to that list. On the contrary, those who did not open my email, I want to score them with a negative value. So here I'll put -2. And then I want to send them another email, which would be a bit different, with a different title to entice them to open my email. There it is. I'll stop right here, but just to give you the big picture, you can even go further and have a lot of branches, a lot of segmentation, as well as a lot of emails to be sent. Arpit, I'll leave it to you to introduce Integromat.
Okay, thanks, Quinton. That was great, really helpful. Moving on to Integromat. So I'd like to start with a quick tour of Integromat. So once you log in, this is what your dashboard looks like. And you can either head over to templates to start with a template, or you can click on this button to start with a blank scenario. So we're going to start with a blank scenario. And on this page, you can either search for the services you want to start with, or simply click skip here. So typically a scenario begins with a trigger. So you first need to click on this big question mark here, and it'll load all the services that Integromat supports. And let's say you want to start with emails. We want to watch emails in a particular inbox. So we select this trigger, watch emails, which will trigger the scenario every time you receive an email in a particular inbox of yours. And then to add another module, just click on this button here, and let's say you want to send this information to a Google Sheet. So you want to add a row with the email data that you receive, the content of the email. And let's say you also want to send yourself a message on Slack. Now Integromat has something really cool called routers. So a router lets you split a scenario and create multiple routes. So you need to click here, you need to right click here on the route here and click add a router. And now you can just click here and create multiple routes. You can easily zoom in and zoom out like this, and click on this question mark and look for Slack. You'll see the various actions that you have for Slack, and let's say you want to create a message. Okay, and then you will see the configuration window load up where you need to configure your message, etc. Now let's say you want to add another route here, and say you want to create a Jira issue with the email information and email data. So you can add another module here, and say you also want to create a task on ClickUp using information from the Jira issue that you just created. So let's say create task. So that's just an example scenario. You can obviously add more routes, you can add a whole bunch of filters. So let's say you want to add a filter here, and you only want to send you only want to create an issue with Jira if the sender, let's say I'm gonna name this route, let's say the sender is whatever abc@gmail.com, and you can create a condition that the sender email address is equal to abc@gmail.com. So then this route will only the data will be sent to this route only when this condition is met. Similarly, you might want to add another router here and do something else also, not just create a task on ClickUp, but also do something else. You could do that, and here you can right click and you can maybe add error handler. So you got various directives. To learn more about error handlers, you can check out the documentation, and you can add error handlers here. Similarly, you can rename modules. So maybe I want to rename this module from Jira software, which is the default name, to say whatever, something specific, email address, whatever. You can also add a note. So you can right click on any module and add a note. So creates an issue, stuff like that. Now you might also want to look at the tools here. So you got a lot of useful tools such as these triggers, aggregators, transformers. So I'm going to use a transformer because I want to compose a particular string which I want to send to my Google Sheet and to Slack and to Jira, and not just the raw content of the email. So you select this module and you drag it wherever you want to add it. So I added it right after the email module, and I'm going to compose a string saying new email received from, and I'm going to add the name of the sender, and then I'm going to map the text content of the email. So click OK. So when you set up the next module, say the Google Sheets module, you need to first obviously select a file you want to send information to, and then here you can directly map the output of the composer string module, which is great, right? You've also got a whole bunch of functions here, general functions, math functions, text and binary functions, date and time. So if you have, say, a date field in your sheet, you can use the now variable to add the current date and time. You can maybe use the format date function to format the time to a particular format, or add a particular time zone of yours, and so on. So yeah, and then here you need to save your scenarios. Obviously we'll ignore that. You can click on auto align to align your scenario nicely. Now very important is the schedule setting, which you can go to by clicking here or by clicking this clock here, and here you've got various options. You can trigger the scenario at regular intervals, or only once, or every day, etc. You've also got advanced scheduling options here, where you can select a time frame, and then you can select the days and the months. So you've got a whole bunch of options here. Now you also might want to sometimes replace a certain module. So maybe you want to replace the email module with the Gmail module. So I click here to select the Gmail module, and I've got the watch emails module from Gmail. Now I might want to replace the email module with the Gmail module. So all you need to do is drag this little clock onto the new module here, and then you need to click on the route and on link, delete the old module and just connect the new module to your existing route. It's that simple. So that gives you an overview of how to create a scenario in Integromat and how to implement all kinds of cool features. And now I'm going to show you how to create two really useful scenarios using Integromat. All right, so the first one we're going to create is this one. It's called create a new contact on SendinBlue when a deal on Pipedrive is moved to another stage. So and this is a template. So if you would like to replicate this, just head over to the template section and filter down with SendinBlue, and you'll see this template. So to begin, just click on this and click on create new scenario from template. We've got a really easy to use template wizard. So just follow the steps. Yeah. So the first module is the watch objects module, and it's an instant trigger. So you need to have a webhook connected to your account to watch the events that you want to send to Integromat. So I've already got mine created there, and it's going to basically watch the particular deal stage, right? So the second module is the get stage deals module, and here again the information is pre-filled. You have to have your Pipedrive account connected, and you can select the stage ID. So I've got contact made as a stage ID. Next, we have a filter here. So what this filter does is it basically ensures that the deal that was moved to the particular stage is only moved to the next module. So that if you don't have this filter, what's going to happen is all the deals in that particular stage will get read by Integromat one after the other. So I've got the ID here from the first module, and I've made it equal to the ID from the second module. We click continue, and the next module is the retrieve object module, and it just retrieves the contact details. So the object type is persons, and I've got the object ID here, again mapped from the first module to retrieve the contact details of that particular contact. And we click continue. The next module is the get contact information module on SendinBlue. So you want to also make sure that the contact doesn't already exist on Integromat, on SendinBlue. So to make sure we don't add duplicate contacts, we look for this particular contact on SendinBlue. So you have the email attribute mapped here. And then we've got a filter here, which has a condition, which checks that the email address returned by SendinBlue does not exist. Only then will we create this contact on SendinBlue. Okay, we click continue. And the last step is to basically map the email address attribute. So here we've got the email value, which is mapped here. And you can select the list you want to add this particular contact to, and click continue. For those of you who are not very familiar with Pipedrive, well, it's a really cool CRM tool, and this is my pipeline, right? And these are deals, and these are the deal stages. So the scenario that we just created will get triggered when we move a deal from any other stage to the stage that we are tracking. So contact made is the stage we are tracking. So I'm going to first save this scenario, and I'm going to click on run once. And then to trigger this scenario, I'm going to move this deal to this stage. And there you go. The scenario executed itself beautifully. You can see the contact has been added on SendinBlue. This is my contact list on SendinBlue, and you've seen that's the contact. John Lennon has just been added to my contact list. So yeah. Okay, I'm going to quickly show another template here. This is also really useful. Create or update a contact with data from a JotForm submission. Of course, you can use the same concept, and you can replace JotForm with any other data collection app that you want to use. So it's really simple. We select the organization. Assuming you already have the JotForm created, you need to basically add a webhook for the form that you want to watch submissions from. I've already done that. So I just select my webhook here. And then on SendinBlue, I just have to map the attributes. So I've got the email address here, last name, first name, the question that I'm asking. So I've got this most used app and feedback as custom fields on SendinBlue, and I've mapped the responses to those questions here. Click continue. I'm going to show you my SendinBlue custom fields that I've created. These are the custom fields, so you can add new attributes and create new fields. And now going back to the scenario, we want to save it and run it once. And to trigger this scenario, I need to submit this JotForm. So I've got my form here, and I've pre-filled it with some data here. So there you go. And I'm going to hit submit. And there you go. The scenario just executed itself, and the contact has been created on SendinBlue. Going back to SendinBlue, if I just refresh my contact list, there you go. That's the contact which was just created, and that's the response to the custom attributes, most used app and feedback. So yeah, that's that. You can use these same scenarios. You can basically modify them to suit your own requirements. You can use different apps, but these two are really useful, and there are many different use cases. So yeah, now we're open to questions from you guys regarding the scenarios we just created, or SendinBlue in general, or Integromat in general. So please feel free to start throwing your questions at us, and we'll be happy to answer them all. Thank you.